Welcome to the NBA Prop Pick Show, powered by EV Analytics. I'm John Miller. He's Adam Scherher. Adam, Eastern Conference Finals, the craziest ending I think we've ever seen. What was the stat? It was like 1 in 970 on the comebacks with what the Pacers did. And approach it from a little bit of a different angle here, because I was thinking last night, if you were, we all have bad beats and stuff. If you were on Knicks spread and like you're watching that, you're like, or even Knicks money line, and you're like, this is pretty easy cash. We're up like 16, then we're up 12. You're looking at 4.5. Would that be one, like, does that just completely rattle your cage? Like you're angry, you want to bet, or you're just like, nope, it's part of betting, it's a bad, because that was one where you're like, there's no way this should have lost. How would you react to that?
It wouldn't bother me now, just because like I have so much experience with it, and also coming from a DFS background, like I've taken bad beats there for more than I can possibly bet on any given bet. So like it wouldn't bother me now, but it's definitely one that, like, if I were less experienced or starting out betting, or just, bet more casually, would stick with me. Like I still remember, I don't remember the details of it anymore, but there was the really crazy like Patriots Colts game from like when it was Manning and Brady back in like the 2009 or whatever, just like a crazy comeback. And I remember it was like one of the first games that I had like actually bet on, and I was on the wrong side of it. And I don't think I bet again for like a year. Like I think it would be one of those for me where it's just like, okay, yep, no, I have horrible luck. Like this is because of me. I am not betting anymore. Like it's bad for sure.
Yeah, I was watching it, and every time Neesmith hit a three, I was like, I mean, are they going to cover it? Probably not. Like they're still, they're still down quite a bit. And then like he hit one more, then he hit another one, and you're like, oh my God. Then you start doing the math. You're like, okay, well, they're still up like 7. They're still up, or, they're up 4, but they'll get free throws, and you're like 4.5. Then I was thinking of like all the SGPs are, people probably had Knicks money line, and they didn't lay the 4.5, and then they don't even win outright. Like that. Right. Like, oh my, because like at that point, like it was up 9 with 50 seconds left. In your head, you're like, mentally, like your brain's like, this cash, like we're okay, like this is fine. And every time he kept hitting a shot, you're like, is this going to lose? And honestly, the Knicks, I don't know who I blame more. I kind of feel like Tom Thibodeau, I think he stopped coaching at some point. You always see these games in basketball where like a coach will call a timeout. They'll be up 12, 30 seconds left. Team hits 3. They call a timeout. I'm like, yeah, you're crazy. You're not going to lose. Like, why are you reaming these guys out? It was just one play. But they didn't really do it. They weren't contesting shots. Like you go look at the Neesmith threes, the very first 2, Cat didn't even get out there to put a hand up. And like the one, he didn't even rotate. Like it was just wide open. And then the next 2 was like OG Anunoby kind of got caught, and he wasn't guarding the 3-point line. And then even like not having Deuce McBride on the floor, and he's a good defender. It's just like, feel like they kept thinking almost like what you would if you had the spread bet where you're like, we're fine. Like they're not going to keep making shots. Like right. This is going to win. And you're like, oh my God. And then Halliburton, what a psychotic move to spin back and go for the 3 to win. I mean, his foot was on the line, but he did that to the Cavs too. So I think that series is going 7. I think it's going to be very entertaining.
I'm interested to see how the Knicks bounce back, just from, like obviously people talk about momentum, and I think generally overstate its effects, or at least like your ability to quantify it. But I mean, that's a dagger. Like that is brutal to try and come back from.
Yeah, and I saw the spread because they were 4.5, and the spread opened about like 6. So there's kind of like that assumption that they won't lose 2 in a row at home, like right. Kind of like that. Everyone's going to want to back the Knicks because they're not going to go 0-2 at home. But it is kind of, it's kind of ironic that they did that to the Celtics. Yeah, they had those 20-point comebacks, and they beat the Celtics in Boston. So that's pretty ironic. But we'll see how it bounce back. So I'm hoping for 7. I want ultimate drama in this series. I think we'll get it. I think the matchups kind of play to it. But we have Game 2. Western Conference Finals tonight, and we have our first bet. We have 2 bets. We want to bet MGM for the very first one, and we're taking everyone's favorite player, Rudy Gobert, over 7.5 points plus 125. So once again, that's Rudy Gobert over 7.5 points plus 125. Adam, why do you like this one?
So I think this, we talked going into game 1 about how going into game 1 of any series, you're kind of just making educated guesses on adjustments that teams might make between the previous series, things that might change, things that might stay the same. After game 1, obviously you have more information about how teams are likely to play, but I think there's also a tendency to overreact to some of that information and say, well, this happened in game 1, so this is just how things are going to go. And obviously you can never be too comfortable with any sort of over on Rudy Gobert, anything, especially in the postseason where we know he can, depending on how the game is going, how the opponent is playing, he can become a liability. But he played 21 minutes in game 1. He picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Sorry, the first minute 37 of that game, went to the bench. It's not like he really got benched in that game. He played the majority of the second quarter. He played the majority of the third quarter, and then he didn't come back in the fourth quarter of a game that was getting out of hand. Rudy Gobert obviously is not the guy that you're subbing in to try and create offense for you when you're down like 15 in the fourth quarter or something. Plus minus, obviously a flawed stat, but it's not like Gobert got torched in his minutes out there or anything. He was -2 when he was on the floor. Naz Reid, by comparison, was -21. Not that I think Naz Reid is going anywhere, but my takeaway from that game wasn't really that like Rudy Gobert is cooked in this series. He's just not going to play minutes. It was he got in foul trouble. Game got out of hand. We have him projected for 27 minutes. He's averaged 27 and a half so far this postseason. I don't really see a reason yet that we shouldn't just kind of be expecting the status quo from Rudy Gobert, what we've been seeing, and we're getting a lower line because of last game. We're getting plus money on it, so all the caveats that come with Rudy Gobert apply. But it looks like a good bet from a price standpoint.
So we're looking at you're seeing right there. So he missed that first quarter because 2 fouls, like you're talking about. So the minutes go down, but then second and third quarter, then like you're saying fourth quarter, you need 3-pointers. You're down 15, you're down 20. Rudy Gobert getting layups doesn't really help at that point. You need people who can shoot. So you're going Naz Reid, you're going Julius Randle, it's like you're saying the minutes were down, but was that because of the fouls and because of the score, or was it because they're just completely fading Rudy Gobert? So I think they need to take some pressure off of, like, obviously the pressure that the Oklahoma City Thunder can put on ball handlers is extreme. Like they're forcing turnovers. I think you need a little more, like maybe some Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert pick and roll, like something away from those. Everyone on their team's a pretty good defender, but like maybe stay slightly more away from Alex Caruso and Lou Dort and those guys who are guarding Anthony Edwards. So they have worked in tandem before. I feel like you're going to see different things from the Timberwolves tonight. You have to find some form of like a pressure release. I don't think you can have like Anthony Edwards or even Nickeil Alexander-Walker was handling the ball a ton against that pressure. So Rudy Gobert, whether that's setting screens, dribble handoffs, however you want to do something, I feel like something has to change. I think, like you said, I think you make a really good point with the minutes. It's 2 fouls, he gets pulled, and then the fourth quarter, you're not going to play because the shooting and the box score makes it look way worse than it probably is for Rudy Gobert. So What was the projection on this 7.5 for points?
9.3 in 27 minutes. So like that's the thing here is like I don't have any issue at all with a 27-minute projection for Gobert. And to your point too, regarding the box score, there's just going to be a level of confirmation bias for everybody too, because everybody hates Rudy Gobert. Everybody is just going to immediately go, oh, Minnesota got blown out. Rudy Gobert only played 21 minutes because Rudy Gobert sucks. They can't play him. Like, that's not really what happened. Like, not saying Gobert played great or Gobert would have saved the game or anything, but he didn't get benched for matchup reasons or anything, at least in this game.
Yeah. Plus 125 too. It's not like it's right. Minus 125, that's a big plus price for 7.5 points. Kind of like it's sitting on 8 too, because it's like 4 dunks or like 4 layups or it doesn't always play like that. But again, when you're talking about these lower point totals, that always does kind of stand out where like, hey, if it was 8.5, then you're 9. You probably need 10 from him, to be honest, to get over the 8.5. So 7.5 plus 125 there for the over for Rudy Gobert. We'll go to the second bet here, going to FanDuel. And I kind of see where you're going with all of this. I feel like these are kind of correlated. So we're going Isaiah Hartenstein, 8+ rebounds, plus 108 there. So once again, that's Isaiah Hartenstein, 8+ rebounds, plus 108. You want to break this one down?
Yeah, I think it's so, like you said, it is, I think, correlated to Gobert. Like the more minutes Gobert plays, you would expect Hartenstein to play a bit more as well. But it's also just kind of a similar thinking here where Hartenstein only played 19.7 minutes in game 1, but he played like 14 minutes in the first half. He actually lost a couple minutes at the end of the second quarter. He picked up his 3rd foul. Then he subs out with his 4th foul about 6 minutes into the 3rd quarter and never comes back, in part probably because of game flow. You know, Gobert didn't play the 4th quarter. The game started to run away. You had a lineup out there for Oklahoma City that was playing really well. They went on like a 17-2 run to close the 3rd quarter, basically coinciding with Hartenstein leaving the floor. So I just think that there's volatility here in Hartenstein's minutes, and you're getting plus money at a number that he's averaging 8.4 rebounds per game so far this postseason. You're getting plus money here. There's no guarantee he plays a ton of minutes. We will definitely, I think, have a better understanding of how Oklahoma City plans on approaching this series after game 2. But I'm not looking at game one with Hartenstein and saying like, oh, they just want to play him 20 minutes per game in this series. I don't think it's that. I do think that our minutes projection on him is a little optimistic. Like we have a 28-minute projection so far in the postseason. He's averaging 25.3 minutes per game. But the thing that I like is that in that 28-minute projection, we have him projected for 9.5 rebounds. So even if you knock that down to like that 25.5 minute projection, you're still going to look good at plus money here. And I mean, the 25 minutes obviously factors in blowout risk too. Oklahoma City's been in plenty of non-competitive games down the stretch. So I think that even if you're expecting 25 and a half minutes, just like I was saying with Gobert, if Hartenstein just plays his normal playoff minutes, this is a really good price.
Yeah. And so Hartenstein had 4 fouls, I believe, where then he got pulled from that game. And like you said, so you go fourth quarter, you can look at those Rudy Gobert minutes. It's like Rudy Gobert never comes back. So if you're Mark Daigneault, it's like, well, why am I going to bring Hartenstein back in the fourth quarter, right? You're kind of matching up the size for size, and they have all the bodies to go small. Like I think that's kind of not the trick, but like kind of in this series where each team can go different ways. So like as soon as Minnesota goes small because Rudy Gobert, they need shooting, they want Naz Reid and other guys in there, then Oklahoma City can do the exact same thing. When you're looking at the Knicks, it's like, here's our 5-6 guys. This is it, right? It doesn't matter if you're small or big. So was Hartenstein being completely faded? Probably not. He was just, they never brought back Rudy Gobert. So these are kind of like extremely correlated. Like you said, you have to love when you have a projection that's that high in the minutes and you're like, oh, I can drop down the minutes to like 24, 25, and we're still showing good edge here. So 8+ rebounds plus 108 there for Isaiah Hartenstein.
I think one other minor thing that is nice about Hartenstein, Jalen Williams back to not being in the rotation, the other Jalen Williams. So like we saw them go small in this game, and obviously Gobert wasn't playing, but like in that Denver series, you had Jalen Williams coming out there playing 12 minutes just, to deal with Jokic. It seems, and maybe it changes game two, but based on what we saw game one, it seems like Oklahoma City's kind of back to their non-Denver rotation where Isaiah Joe is ahead of Jalen Williams. They went Kenrich Williams over Jalen Williams. So that is, kind of back to that 2-center rotation too, for the most part with Hartenstein and Chet.
Yeah, that definitely helps the minutes. I was texting producer Dell during the game. I was like, Isaiah Joe back. We were laughing in the first half there because he got some minutes. Game 7 in Nuggets. I know he got in the last like 2-3 minutes when they completely dumped the benches, but other than that, he was not playing. Like you said, it was the 3 bigs, but now different matchup, different team. We're going 2 bigs, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, so that obviously helps Hartenstein some minutes as well there. Just catching up on the chat here. Maurice Walker, Cat, 20 points, 10 rebounds, Knicks money line. I'm assuming. I know Cat had more than 20 points. I don't know his rebounds were, but I'm assuming that SGP lost with Knicks money line, which would really sting there. Hartenstein over 8.5 points. Obviously, we like something for Hartenstein, but we're going to go with the rebounds, 8+ there. Brad saying Jaden McDaniels assists over 1.5 plus 120 today. Better price than game 1. Did you look at Jaden McDaniels assists again, or was there?
It didn't. So here's, hang on, let me find it.
I know he only played 23 minutes because that was foul trouble. He had 6 fouls and he ended up fouling out. I don't think his potential assists were that high from what I remember looking at, but I might be wrong.
We have over Jaden McDaniels 1.5 at even money as the best price that I had at least last time I refreshed. And we had that as like a positive but not great bet. So if you're seeing plus 120, I think it's probably good.
Yeah. So if you have access to plus 120 wherever you're shopping, that could definitely be a play for you. Like you said, we're operating more on the even money, so that gives us a much different EV there.
We have it projected for 2.
2, okay. Yeah, and you'd think he plays more than 20 there. I mean, but the projection, do you have the minutes projection for
37? Him? So I think the minutes projection is actually light if he's able to avoid foul trouble. Like it's not light probably from like a median standpoint because when he does get in foul trouble, he's going to play a lot less. But I think they would probably like him to play more than that.
I think if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think he plays 40. Right. I think that's kind of him, Anthony Edwards, and like Julius Randle are like the 3 where you're like pretty confident what they're going to play and stuff. Yeah. But that's also not. We got SGA on the other side, and he's guarding SGA, so that's not a guarantee either. But I think they want him to play 40 if he can. 2 bets today. We're going Rudy Gobert over 7.5 points plus 125. 2 big plus monies here. Isaiah Hartenstein 8+ rebounds plus 108. This concludes the NBA Prop Pick Show powered by EV Analytics. We'll be back next Tuesday. Maybe, I'm assuming. I think we're going. I always do this. I always close the show. I'm like, I'm not sure what the playoff schedule is, but I think we're going every other day here with the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. So I imagine we'll be back next Tuesday. If not, definitely Wednesday. There won't be 2 days without a game. So we'll be back next Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Good luck with your bets. Del, play the song.
Bye.